We are revealing the Locked On top 100 college football players list, and Clemson absolutely dominates for the ACC.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Shout out to the everydayers. Thank you so much for making Locked On ACC your first listen and your first watch. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. He is Kenton Gibbs, former NC State defensive lineman and co-host of Locked On Wolfpack. I am Alex Donno, host of Locked On Canes. On this loaded episode, I caught up with the spoiler alert, the highest ranked Miami Hurricane. Actually, sorry, the second highest ranked Hurricane. There is one ranked in front of him, but a top 30 player, Reuben Hurricane Bane. We'll have my sit down for him later on in this episode. The results are in from the ACC media poll. And there was one thing that surprised me a little bit. We'll get to it. But Kenton, let's talk about this top 100. And are you surprised to know that most of the top players out of the ACC are wearing orange and purple this year?
Donno, I'm shocked. I'm flabbergasted. I'm bewildered. I am so confused right now because what would make Clemson such a wonderful team where everybody's picking them to win the conference? They have a player that is top 3 in Heisman odds. They've got multiple players that are on awards watch list everywhere, and we're supposed to be shocked that this team that is a national champion favorite, one of the teams that if you put some money on them to win a natty, I mean, congratulations, you might win some money, but the odds aren't like that much of a long shot to where it's like, oh yeah, this is worth the value, as the degenerates like Donno would say. I mean, it's just, yeah, of course. They're a good team for a reason. With all due respect to Dabo Swinney, it's not your X's and O's, it's your Larrys and your Joes. And they got some damn good Larrys and some damn good Joes.
Yeah, so all right, so here is the reveal of the first section, the top 10 of this top 100. I just want to let people know how we tabulate this. So every Locked On College host, and there are several dozen of us, right? There's got to be probably 70 plus college hosts on the Locked On Network. We all voted on this. We filled out a ballot from 1 to 100, and we all took it very seriously, by the way. Like I know from Kenton and my part and from all the other great hosts, a lot of research went into this. And so you're looking at the top 10 here. Ohio State has 2 of the top 2 players in the country. Jeremiah Smith at number 1, safety Caleb Downs at 2. Then you've got edge Dylan Stewart from South Carolina, Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame, Alabama wide receiver Ryan Williams. And then we get to the first ACC representative, Cade Clubnik out of Clemson. Now, more Clemson players will show up on this list. And yeah, Kenton, you mentioned, Clubnik, he's, he plays quarterback, so he's going to be one of those preseason Heisman Trophy favorites. But, I know he plays the most important position. Clemson is so stacked, I'm not even sure Clubnik is the best player on his team. I think there's a few defensive players that are to give him a run this year.
I don't think there's an argument for Cade Clubnik being the best player on that team. With all due respect to Cade Clubnik, he had a fantastic year last year. But you saw what Peter Woods did last year. Like, that is a 300-pound plus man that played on the edge effectively. He wasn't like hey, this is short yardage. We need you to step in and be the edge for now because we have a lot of other good big body. No. That young man, first, second, third down, all 3 downs playing on the edge, and you're going to tell me that he's not he's considered to be a number 1 pick kind of guy. Cade Clubnik, with all due respect to him, he's not talked about in that same way, even though he's a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback. You talk about the most important position, all that. He is in the most important position. He's in a position where people get thirsty and draft one of them all the time, way higher than they should be, and yet and still, people are talking about Peter Woods as the guy that's like, hey, he's very possibly a number 1 pick. And that doesn't even mention Parker, who, again, another premium position, and he can absolutely go as well. So there's definitely an argument there.
Yeah, and those 2 names that you mentioned are literally the next 2 in the top 100 once we get to 11 through 20. Peter Woods from Clemson, defensive lineman, TJ Parker, edge rusher from Clemson. And those are the next two guys on the list, the next two ACC representatives. And obviously, Kenton, it's well-deserved. You notice the top three ACC selections so far are all Clemson Tigers. So if you go a little deeper here on page 2, you get a couple Miami Hurricanes. And, I think the votes got this right for Francis Malinoaand. I think I probably had him a few spots maybe higher on my ballot, but number 23, I'm not going to complain. I think he's going to be one of the top offensive tackles in the draft this year. Miami's starting right tackle, CC Malinoaand. And number 29, Ruben Hurricane Bane, who we're going to hear from a little bit later on. He cracks that top 30 as well. And, and you'll see, Kenton, my chat with Bane coming up. The dude is motivated. He seems like he's kind of entering the season a little pissed, right? Pissed about how bad the defense was around him last year, frustrated that he was playing through injuries a season ago. And he's actually dropped like 15, 20 pounds, which I think is good for him because he was playing around 280 last year on the edge. I think he kind of got his quickness back from his freshman year. At least he thinks he has.
Yeah, you know what? He's a guy that I think he plays better lighter. I think that one of the things that makes him is that explosiveness, is that quick twitch, change of direction. I mean, obviously, the nickname Hurricane doesn't just apply because he's a Miami Hurricane. If you've seen him work his spin move at his highest clip, it is devastating and dizzying. I would hate to be an offensive tackle and see him coming. So it's exciting to see him, drop down, get that explosiveness back and all that good stuff. We're all hoping for a healthy season for him. If you're a fan of college football, you want to see a healthy season for him outside of course, Tallahassee, maybe Gainesville. I get it. I know. I understand. You ain't got to tell me. And CC Malinoaand. Oh, what a massive mountain of a man, I was joking with him at ACC Media Day, said, you couldn't block me, right? I don't have a snowball's chance in hell against him.
You're sizing him up.
You know what I mean? Hey, listen, I do that to everybody. But with him, I know he's a ball player, man. He looks like it. He talks like it. And even his reasoning for staying on the right side of the offense being, hey, I will do whatever the team needs. What an offensive line answer. Because we all know it is a premium to play on the left side. You get paid more if you are the left tackle protecting the blind side and all that. And yet he says, I don't need to put this on tape to look good for the scouts. I don't care about all that. I want to do what the team needs. That is the type of offensive lineman that you want.
All right, so here, the next ACC player that comes up here, number 39 in the country, Pittsburgh linebacker Kyle Lewis, who he deserves that recognition. It's actually, I'm noticing, I'm actually proud of the Locked On hosts for showing some restraint with Arch Manning to put him in the 30s. Because if our hosts know ball. Because when you do these top 100 polls of people who don't know, and no disrespect to Arch, he just hasn't proven it yet. He's played a couple games. He can earn it this year. But if this was a non-Locked On poll, they would have had Arch probably in the top 10.
With all due respect, I don't know what Arch has done to be in the top 100 at all. All of these other guys have shown they're behind. I mean, have acted a donkey on that field. Arch hasn't. I mean, what UL living on? But we're not here to talk about that because we've talked ad nauseum about where he belongs and where he doesn't. Kyle Lewis, what a player. What a player. Do you remember what Narduzzi said about him at ACC Media Day? He is the type of player that I could let him go and be instinctive and find the ball, and in coverage or in any part of the field, when he gets his hands on the ball, he's as good as any running back in America.
Yeah.
Now, just for those who do not know, there is a running back that walks in Pitt's facilities every day by the name of Desmond Reed, one of about 8 to go for over 1,500 total yards from scrimmage last year. And the guy who coaches him said, we have another guy on the team that when the ball is in his hands, he's as good as any back.
Let him play two ways.
Hey, it's the new nature of the game. But I'll tell you, with a guy like Desmond Reed, you don't even need to put that type of wear and tear on him. So, it's Kyle Lewis. What a phenomenal player. And the way that Narduzzi's system allows these guys to be instinctive and kind of make it happen. But that's the beauty of Narduzzi's system. It allows you more freedom, but it also puts more pressure on you to create plays and be right. because it doesn't matter how instinctive I allow you to be if your instincts are shot. If you can never follow where the ball is, it doesn't matter. Kyle Lewis did not have that problem in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
We got more ACC players in the top 100. Are some of these too low? We'll talk about that. Plus, the poll results are in from ACC media days, and the Florida State media got a little crazy. We'll explain. You want to keep it locked right here. We're only getting started on this brand new episode of Locked On ACC. Oh, I love the boost that I get from 5 Hour Energy. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy's Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. I try to keep up with my friends on the golf course. I don't play enough. Some of my friends they're basically hustlers out there. They go and they just humiliate me. But I try to keep up with these guys by getting that energy that I need from a 5-hour shot. And folks, playing golf, it's about spending time with your friends. It's about being out with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the bev cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that's the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use our promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. The offer is only valid until September 30th on one order, cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. Thank you for making Locked On ACC your first listen and your first watch. For your next listen, make sure you check out our other shows. Kenton Gibbs and Grayson Boone do an incredible job on Locked On Wolfpack, covering all things NC State. I cover all things Miami on Locked On Canes. All right, so moving along, Kenton, to the remainder of this top 100. Seeing other ACC players who land on the list. I guess there are Terry Moore from Duke would be the next player up at number 42. So it's nice to see that that Blue Devils defense getting some recognition there for one of their top safeties.
Absolutely. And you want to talk about Locked On host knowing ball. Terry Moore right there tells me that some folks know some ball, because you have to fully understand what's going on the field to understand how he impacts the game. Yes, it comes off as, statistically he does a lot of things well, but he is one of those guys that he is truly a leader back there, a quarterback of the secondary, a guy who knows the calls, knows the checks, and rarely ever do you see him out of position in a defense that Manny Diaz coaches. Now, why is that important? Manny Diaz is known as the master of disguise. If you are going to be a safety in that type of system, you have to be very effective at knowing where you're supposed to be and getting everybody else lined up, or else you're going to see a lot of bust. Not a ton from Duke, not a ton from Terry. So, he's a heck of a player, very, very cerebral. He thinks his way through the game at a high level. I love to see it.
You see a couple more ACC players here between 51 and 60. Kevin Jennings, quarterback of SMU, at number 55, and Isaac Brown, star running back at Louisville, at number 60. I mean, listen, I know we keep saying that the Locked On hosts know ball, and there's no denying that, but I feel like if we really knew ball, Isaac Brown would be ranked above number 60 overall.
I agree with you there strongly. I think that this is the one they got wrong, but you know what they say, Donno. If you look at any list or ranking and you think it's perfect, it's probably because you did the listing or the ranking. Okay. Yeah. Isaac Brown is phenomenal. He is a top 50 player in this country. And I think that even with as spectacular as his freshman year was, I think this year will be his coming out party. I think this year will be the moment where it's not just about, the ACC notices. A couple of teams here and there. I noticed him put on the show against Clemson. No. This is going to be a situation where I think the entire nation will be put on, oh, my God, Louisville's got a guy again. I don't know how they did it, but they got another one of those ones that's going to be impactful at the next level for many, many years.
All right, so you see a lot of ACC players between 60 and 70 here. starting with Carson Beck, Miami quarterback at number 63, Clemson wide receiver Antonio Williams at 67, Virginia wideout Malachi Fields at number 68, Duke offensive tackle Brian Parker II at 69. I did a YouTube short about Carson Beck's ranking at 63, and that makes him the 10th quarterback on the list. I get it. Like, people are not necessarily buying Carson Beck stock. There's been a lot of sour grapes coming out of UGA for him. People are wondering how his injury recovery has gone after the elbow surgery. I mean, based on chatting with him and talking with Miami staffers, I think he's going to outplay that ranking a little bit. I feel like the stock is pretty low compared to where it was at this time last year, Ken.
But you know what? If I was him, that's the way I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Don't think I'm good. Think that it's going to be a tough year and all that. But I'll tell you what, when you have low expectations, all you can do is exceed them. And you've got low expectations, but one of the higher pay salary or one of the higher salaries in America. I like that. I love that. Give me a few million and also tell me at the same time, we're not expecting too much. I'll go too crazy. Oh, we think that you'll be one of the better players in America, but we're not expecting you to produce at that level. Like you said, Donno, he's healthy, he's cleared, he's throwing again. Everybody knows how I feel about him. I think he's a very middling quarterback. I think he's a little bit better than middling. I'd say good. Let me not say middling. I think he's a good quarterback. I just don't think he's in the great quarterback territory. But like I already alluded to, that gives him a lot of room to shut guys like me up. It really and truly does.
And he wants to shut you up. That's his number one goal this year, is to shut up Kenton Gibbs.
Well, listen, if he's got a bulletin board with my face on it, all I would say is don't miss. Don't miss now. If you're going to hit that, don't you throw out and hit my ear or nothing like that. You better get me square.
All right, so then you got 3 more ACC players there. Antonio Williams, wide receiver at Clemson. I feel like he could have been ranked a little higher than 67.
I agree.
Malachi Fields, if he played anywhere but Virginia, he'd be ranked higher than 68. And Brian Parker, part of what should be a really good Duke offensive line this year.
Let me tell you something. Malachi Fields is a big body supreme at wide receiver. He's listed at 6'4", 223. I think he's about a couple Bowberry biscuits away from about 230, 235. He's a big dude. And he knows how to use his body to box out defenders. He knows no cornerbacks are as tall as me. And even if they can jump as high as me, they can't reach as high as me. So I'm going to go up here and make this thing happen. But like you said, there's been so much inconsistency at the quarterback position. Who's your quarterback? Is it Musket? Is it Calandra? Is it somebody else? Nobody knows. Well, now you've got Chandler Morris coming in another time where you've got a quarterback where, with all due respect to Chandler Morris, he's done great things so far in his career, but it's another first-year guy coming in to be his quarterback as opposed to having some continuity. Donno, you're absolutely right. If he plays anywhere else, we are talking about him as one of the premier wide receivers in the nation. I think that people will be talking about him like they did Ted McMillan last year. It just so happens to be Charlottesville just ain't pumping out that kind of love.
All right, so you got 3 more ACC players in the top 100. You see Duke quarterback Darian Mensah at number 78. Then we have Haynes King at number 89. I mean, you talk about underrated. I mean, and then you got one more Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket on the list, and that is Jamal Haynes at 96. I feel like, listen, I'm glad Georgia Tech has couple of top 100 players, but I think they're definitely going to outplay those rankings in the 80s and the 90s this year.
Oh, absolutely. Jamal Haynes has never played like a guy that belongs down there. He is a bowling ball of butcher knives, listed at 5'9", 190. But let me tell you something about Jamal Haynes. 5'9" is generous. It's generous. I'm just being honest. But you know what? That 190 ain't. He's a load to bring down. He's got that low center of gravity, great contact balance, great quickness, and a little bit of long speed to boot. I am telling you, if by the end of the season, if we had to reorder this at the end of the season, I'm willing to bet that both he and Haynes King both skyrocket.
Yeah, no, I'm willing to bet that as well. All right, so Kenton, we both attended ACC kickoff media days last week, and we both, voted 1 through 17 on how the ACC football season's going to finish. And listen, I restrained myself, Kenton, for as much as I wanted to just, hey, I'm here as a Miami guy. Let me give my token first place vote to Miami. I resisted the temptation because in my heart of hearts, I believe the conference is going to finish Clemson at number 1, Miami number 2, Louisville 3, SMU 4, and so on. So, despite the fact that I went to Miami, I bleed orange and green. I voted for Miami second, which was the media consensus. That's where most members voted Miami. I voted Clemson first, right? So the way that this poll finished, Clemson runaway favorites to win the conference, 167 first place votes. That's out of 183 media members. So most everyone voted for Clemson. Miami comes in second. They had 7 first place votes. So a few outliers voted for Miami. SMU comes in third, 2 first place votes. Georgia Tech comes in fourth, two first place votes. At 5 and 6, you've got Louisville and Duke. Not a single first place vote between the two of them, Louisville and Duke. And then at number 7, you got Florida State. Now, I'm not even upset about them being number 7. Like it is what it like. I could see a scenario where they finish top 7 in the ACC. But coming off a 2-10 season, you're telling me 4 media. They got 4 first place votes, Kenton. 4. They got more first place votes, or at least as many first place votes as Georgia Tech, Louisville, and Duke. Actually, more than Georgia Tech, Louisville, and Duke combined. As many as SMU, Georgia Tech, Louisville, and Duke combined. 4 first place votes. I mean, who was it? PlantTheSpear.com? Like, who's voting Florida State first place?
You cannot trick me, Plant the Spear, guys. We're watching you. We're on to you. But here's the problem, Donno. There was only 2 of them there. Who were the other 2?
Oh, that's a good point.
Who were the other 2? Brian Smith, come to the front.
He didn't go. I don't think he had a vote.
Well, you're still going to vote even if you're not there in person. So
yeah, but still, but we talk to Brian Smith all the time. Like, he would not have voted Florida State first.
That's fair.
He wouldn't have done it. He wouldn't have done it.
Well, Donno, at this point, it feels like me and you need to go around Charlotte playing a giant game of Clue. That's what it seems like we got to do here. Because I'm very confused about this. Not even from a standpoint of, hey, I hate Florida State or I just don't like what they stand for as a program. No, I don't. I actually like Florida State.
I voted for them last year to finish first place. Shame on me. They went 2-10, but I voted for them first place last year.
And here we are coming back this year, and nobody in their right mind is voting Florida State first. If you voted Florida State first, I think we need to bring in a policy of drug testing all of the ACC media. Yeah. I really think we do, because Florida State, by all accounts, is replacing everything. They're stripping everything down to the studs and rebuilding it in one offseason. That generally is not a path to success at the Power 4 level. You can do that in the FCS. You can do that at most HBCUs. You can do that. You cannot at the Power 4 level. It takes multiple years to do that. It takes multiple years to get that. Look at Coach Prime in Colorado. Look at Northwestern after Fitzgerald was fired. You could say, well, that team won 6 or 7 games the next year. Sure, but 6 or 7 games is not a conference champion. Not in the ACC, at least. That's not – you're not going to see that. So I'm sitting here saying this is a very unserious vote by those people.
I mean,
very
come on. I mean, at least try to take your vote seriously. Now, the only other outlier was randomly Virginia Tech received 1 first place vote. Although I wonder, that might have been a hanging Chad situation, because Kenton, it was a digital vote. There was a very complicated drag and drop mechanism. Yeah. If there might have been, I don't know, there might have been like an 80-year-old man, like maybe Bill Belichick had a vote. He's older. And maybe there's somebody screwed up the drag and drop, but like Virginia Tech that's not a serious vote. Like it had to have been like, what was it, like the fightinggobbler.com or something? Like how did they get a vote?
You know what? There were multiple older gentlemen there that I thought to myself, how do you do with computers? Do you know how to rotate a PDF? Answer quickly. Though it was a little bit of that there. There was a little bit of that element in the room with us. So it's possible. And you know what? I think that we need to attribute the Florida State votes to that as well. But Virginia Tech, maybe I thought I was drinking the Kyron Drones Kool-Aid. I thought I was getting back on the bandwagon. Apparently, somebody never left. Apparently, somebody said, hey, Donovan Green and Kyron Drones, hey, by Shaw Tootin' who? We don't need them. We're good without them. I'm very intrigued by Virginia Tech getting the first place.
All right, let me go through the whole poll here. Clemson first, Miami second, SMU third, Georgia Tech fourth, Louisville, Duke, Florida State seventh, North Carolina at eighth, Pitt at ninth, NC State 10th, Virginia Tech with their one first place vote at 11th, Syracuse 12, Boston College, Virginia, and Cal round out the top 15, and then Wake Forest and Stanford come in 16th and 17th. But when we come back here on Locked On ACC, I had a chance today. I was at Miami Media Day. It's the day before training camp starts, and I sat down with number 29 on the top 100 players list, Miami edge rusher Reuben Hurricane Bane. We'll hear from him when we come back. You want to keep it locked right here on this brand new episode of Locked On ACC. So Reuben Bane, he's getting national love. He's on the Nagurski watch list. You know, the Locked On hosts have him as a top 30 player. He's getting national love despite the fact that he took his production took a step back in his second year last year. It had a lot to do with him missing almost a half dozen games and playing through some injury. So Bane is motivated. He's kind of angry heading into his third year at the U. I sat down with Reuben earlier today. Reuben Bane, new defensive coordinator this year with Coach Heatherman. What's the new scheme been like in the transition?
It's been amazing. Transition been fairly smooth. Coach Heatherman gives us a lot of room to learn and improve and really be free. Scheme is second to none in my opinion. It's not too far from last year's, but Coach Heatherman is a smart coach and he's really know what he's doing.
You know, you had some injuries and stuff you played through last year. How does it feel to be able to put that behind you and start a new chapter this season with camp tomorrow?
Man, it's so amazing just to be able to be like, man, it's over with. I'm back to 100% healthy, down in weight. I'm feeling the way I'm supposed to feel, and I'm feeling happy to play football. I mean, this offseason is probably one of the best we had so far. Speaking from a personal standpoint, definitely my best. I've really seen a lot of growth and improvement, and time will tell. That's all I can say.
Anything in particular that makes you feel like this is the best offseason?
Really just the growth and competition me and this dude had. I was whooping his in all the competition drills. He could tell you. He probably not gonna tell you, but he could tell you. But really, just the improvement, the bond. I seen all the new guys and the connection the team had. There's a lot of new faces here, as you can tell, and we can really bonded like we was all here and came in together. It's a real strong atmosphere, real strong bond, real strong connection.
The defense last year had ups and downs. Did some of the struggles, does that put an extra chip on you guys' shoulder?
Definitely, because it's a thing that you want to really show off and really show that, man, whatever happened last year happened. We're a new team, new defense now, a whole new persona, and we come in with the mindset to shush the naysayers.
Has your body changed from last year?
Yeah. I'm down in body fat, down in weight, really down in weight. I'm about closer to my high school weight, so I'm feeling fast and agile, fast and smooth, quick, twitchy, all the above, man. I'm ready to go.
You know, what's it like? I'm sure you've been asked this 1,000 times, but to have a Pro Football Hall of Famer as your position coach, what's it like working with Coach Taylor?
It gets even more surreal as the time gets closer for you to be eligible to leave. So it's now like, damn, I'm kind of getting closer to what JT is, and all the information he was telling me is really starting to hit now, because the real world kind of starting to come into intuition. So it's crazy just seeing the stories he tells me, and now I'm one step closer to being into the shoes he was in.
I know, you guys take it one practice at a time, one day at a time. Mm-hmm. So I'll ask you, do you have any goals for the first day of training camp tomorrow?
Just win every rep, bust the O-line ass, get after it all day practice. Tomorrow day need to be my day, man. Everybody gonna leave this, no doubt. This is something serious.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Did you notice how diplomatic I was when I said the defense had ups and downs last year? It was,
Very kind. Very
there
kind.
was there was one up, and that was against Florida in the opener, and then it was, it's mostly down after that.
Let me tell you something. I love everything about Ruben Hurricane Bane, but we got to get him a new barber. We got to find him a good barber down there. The hairline, we need a little bit of engineering. And I'm telling you, as a bald brother, as two bald men, we are telling you. But I'll tell you this much. He sounds like he's pissed off for greatness. He sounds like he's determined by the failures of last year. And this is the interesting thing about camp, Donno. Everybody's camp is opening this week. Everybody's in the best shape that they've ever been in.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is either last year didn't happen and that team won and did great things, or we're disappointed by how that team ended and we take that with us. It's very interesting how that dynamic plays out in camp. Any successes from the last team, that team's gone. It's nothing to do with it. But the failures from the last team are always squarely on your shoulders, always sitting there. Oh, yeah, we just were all left with a bad taste in our mouth. And nobody's left with a good taste in their mouth. They're very interesting quotes from camp. But again, Hurricane Bane, we love you, but you got to get that hairline together. We got to get you a barber to get you, where you got to be. And I get it. Barber advice from a bald guy, generally bad, but we're telling you this because it might be time to come join the crew.
Well, I think he's working on one thing at a time. He had to battle through a calf injury. That was the first priority. He wanted to trim down a little bit because he thought he was playing too heavy last year. Now that he's got his body in optimal shape, it's time for a comb over. Time to work on that hairline a little bit. we appreciate everyone. Now the next time I see Ruben, he's gonna give me a hard time. It was all Kenton.
Blame it all on me. Blame it all on me because I want more bald men out here. I want more of us to accept it. I'm tired of seeing these Carlos Boozer painted on hairlines and whatnot. I've had enough of it.
I'm with you on that. Well, we appreciate everyone for making Locked On ACC your first listen and your first watch. We'll have a lot more on training camps around the ACC with everything opening up. Miami's opening up tomorrow. Make sure you guys check out Kenton at TGIF_Kenton on X. Check out Locked On Wolfpack. Check me out on X at Alex Donno and at Locked On Canes. Make sure for your next listen, you check out the portal. I will confirm with Brian Smith that he was not one of the 4 first-place votes for Florida State. Maybe we'll bring him on our next episode to talk about that. But he does a great job hosting the Portal podcast, available free wherever you get your pods. So we'll talk to you next time right here on the awesome Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.